video, we're going to be going over duplicate management within Shape software. It's vitally important to be able to have a clean database and manage your contacts effectively. Within duplicate management, you may want to have different rules for different situations, which you can do within the duplicate management settings. I'm going to go ahead and open up a automatic reconciliation rule within the system, which looks at leads, applications, and loans, which are it's a borrower record type. Let's go over some of the options here. First and foremost, you have the rule status, whether it's on or off. Rules that are off do not apply to any of your records. You can choose either to manually flag duplicate records or automatically reconcile them. Most common is to automatically reconcile. You can name the rule. This is only valid within the system, and you can choose which record types it applies to. For example, you might have a referral partner or like a real estate agent that you work with in a B2B capacity, and you also might have a loan transaction with them as well. So in that case, you would not want to duplicate manage a referral partner with a borrower record type. You can also add advanced conditions. For example, if you only want to have a rule that is tied to a particular source, you can either include or exclude certain sources, or you can exclude or include source on existing. So include or exclude looks at sources as they come into the system. So it looks at the current source of the lead that is being created that we're checking for duplicates on. And then exclude and include it doesn't care about the current source of the new lead being created, but it looks at the pre-existing sources that already exist in the system. This is an advanced source setting, so if you don't know how to use this, I recommend not including that. Next, you can change the status upon merge. Now, this may be important if you want to flag something as a hot lead or a reapply lead. So you can, if you don't already have a status in the system that applies to it, you can add it and have that change here. This is an optional setting. You do not have to require it. Also, you may consider a lead that was created within the last 30 days. So say you have someone who put in multiple lead forms within the last 30 days. Those would likely highly be a duplicate record that you wouldn't want to create multiple contacts for within the system. But if something was maybe really old, like 5 years old, maybe you want it to create a new record at that point. So you have the option to choose. All time is usually the most common used within the platform. Next, you can create your various conditions. So as you can see here, we have two groups in this one. We're either looking at, and in this case, I'm going to make some changes here. We're going to be looking at last name and mobile phone, or last name and email. This is one that says, okay, the last name has to be Smith and the phone number, or the last name is Smith and the email have to match. So we're kind of just we're ensuring that last name is part of the equation. This is a more specific rule. Most commonly, email or mobile phone is a very common duplicate condition here, because if you have a matching email or phone number, regardless of the first and last name or any other contact data, it is typically a duplicate record. Next, you have your merge settings. Here you can either merge the new record into the pre-existing record, which would basically maintain a lot of the data. For example, total call attempts, last contact attempt, etc., and so forth. There's a lot of activity tracking that is valuable information. So most commonly, people are merging the new record into pre-existing. But if you want to consider the new lead a brand new opportunity and you want to kind of clear some of that data out, you can merge pre-existing into new. Similarly, you can either keep the pre-existing user or reassign it through distribution rules here. Next, it's important to understand which lead source should be kept. Most commonly, you're going to keep the pre-existing source. However, if you are actually converting this lead off of the new source, some people will choose that here. Tags, you can either completely overwrite the tags or you can add to them. Next, you have your merge settings. You can either just fill in blank values, fill in blank and override certain selected fields, or overwrite all fields. And here you can dictate those field preferences as needed. This is an overview of the duplicate management. We also have the ability to manually duplicate merge, just to give you a high-level overview of how to do that. Let's just open a test lead within the system. Use this sample lead. You can either click this check for duplicates button at the bottom. This will indicate if you have a duplicate record, and we do here. You can see these are straight up duplicates. They're identical. I actually just imported both of these and did not run duplicate management rules when I imported them. So at this point, you can either choose the pre-existing or new record as the primary. You can see that when I do this, the arrows change from one side to the other. And at this point, you can either go down and you can delete a record, or you can overwrite certain pieces of information. So in this case, if I wanted to do the new record, but I wanted to overwrite it with these user details, I just click the button. You can see that it overrode over here, and I can press save. When this happens, it's just going to ask you to confirm. When you do that, it will automatically open up that contact record and show you the details here. We also have several reports that go over duplicate management, what has been duplicate managed, potential duplicates, and metrics around those. If you have any follow-up questions on duplicate management, let us know.